Alec Lasley from the Hoosier.com with us right now. Alec, I was looking in the 24 class or 23 class. There are 18 offers out.
You're talking
And
23?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
a lot of them happened, in the last month and a half with the two live evaluation periods. But if you look at what Mike Woodson has done probably over the last, 2.5, 3 months, a lot of those go to shooters. A lot of those go to guys who can make shots on their own and create for themselves, and not a lot go to big men. He's Indiana's pretty much all in on 2023 forward Arrington Page from Georgia. They're trying to make a little bit more of a push at Xavier Booker as well. I think that's a recruitment that's going to be a little bit difficult to win for Indiana.
now, why is that?
So
Everyone asks, why is that? He's an Indiana kid here in Indianapolis. Why is that a hard one to win? The program is really taking a turn towards NBA style of play. Um, the success is ramping up, the excitement in the state. Why? So why is Xavier Booker's recruitment not going Indiana's way?
yeah, I mean, a large portion of that is just them not prioritizing him about 4 or 5 months ago. Not a lot of schools did. It was more so over the last 2 months that during the live evaluation periods that Tom Izzo and Michigan State always either had Tom Izzo at the games or always had an assistant at the games, if not both. And when you look at what Indiana did, they sent their entire staff to watch Arrington Page. They brought Xavier Johnson there to watch Arrington Page. They sent at least two assistants to two more of his games, and that did not even include going down to obviously Orlando for the first live period for Nike UIBL and sending two assistants to two of Arrington Page's games. So they sent a clear message over the last 2.5, 3 months that they want a guy like Arrington Page, and they just aren't fully invested into the recruitment of Xavier Booker. I think a large part of that is just due to the inconsistencies that he showed in the high school season. A guy who has all the skill and all the ability in the world, but the motor has been questioned at times, and I think he's answered those questions over the last two live evaluation periods, and that's why you see his recruitment not only kicking up, but you see Indiana getting back involved. And this is not to say that his recruitment is fully over and dead set on a Michigan State commitment. I think it's going to be tough to get him away from Michigan State when it's all said and done. But there's a reason why the Dukes and the Kentuckys are starting to reach out to him and starting to get that conversation going, because you don't get many 6'10", 6'11" guys who can knock down the three and be as athletic and versatile as he can on the floor. It's just been the motor with him and in the ability to play hard consistently that I think rubbed some teams the wrong way when his recruitment really started to get going during this high school season. But like I said, I think he's answered a lot of those questions, and that's why I think Indiana and some of these other teams are starting to get back involved again, because he has shown that, hey, I've heard what you said. I've taken that to heart, and now I'm trying to work on that and get better at that motor, because when he's playing hard, he's one of the most difficult forwards to guard in all of the class of 2023. He just needs to do that consistently.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that Indiana did not go all in on someone like that, even with the inconsistencies in the beginning, because just to see it through. Um, I know that Indiana is and will going forward be a nationally recruiting team. As I look across these offers, I know some of the names that they're Cohen Carr and Arrington Page that you just mentioned. Two of the most sought after names that they're after, Greenville, South Carolina, Marietta, Georgia. Georgia's an area they've really been pummeling for recruits. But Indiana is not really been prioritized, it seems. At first, I thought it was because they just got into the game late as a staff, but they're not prioritizing the Indiana players, it seems, at least not at this moment.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this, a couple weeks ago. The biggest reason for that is you look at high school basketball in the state of Indiana. Again, this could rub some people the wrong way, but a lot of the top talent is not staying in your normal local high schools, right? They're going to prep schools. They're going to more national competition, a much bigger level of competition than what you're going to get just playing high school basketball. Obviously, you still get that with certain teams and certain conferences in the state of Indiana, but there's a reason why they're going after Jalen Hood-Schifino and Xavier Booker to a certain extent is just not to that level. And you have a guy like Malik Renault, who they went all in on because these guys are playing nationally ranked teams with guys who are going to be starting from day one at the college level, who they're playing in not only playing against, but practicing against every single day. And there's a big difference between the level that you're going to get with a Malik Renault from day one and a guy like Xavier Booker from day one. And that's not a knock on Xavier Booker. That's just basically bringing things into a reality that you're going to get a lot better if you're practicing day in and day out against 5-star talent, and if you're practicing against non 5-star talent. There's going to be a major difference in what you're going to be able to do when you get to the college level, and you're only going to get that if you look nationally and you kind of break out of this mold of strictly sticking to Indiana. And we've talked about this again before too, but that's what Archie Miller tried to do. He got a lot of the quote unquote local guys, and they weren't able to produce, I think, to the level that a lot of people expected them to. And he was not able to get the national guys, and that was the downfall for him, obviously, with some other things included. But you need to be able to recruit nationally if you're going to be able to win at a high level in college basketball. You look at all the teams around the country that are doing it, and Indiana was a little bit behind the game there when it came to national level of recruitments. But they're getting a lot more involved in that, and that's only going to bring them back to a much better place here in especially the 2023 class, but even going forward into the 2024 class as well.
And for those who think that NIL is going to control the game, while it definitely is impacting it, here's a situation right here. I'm pretty certain that Indiana would be able to match any NIL offer for Xavier Booker, per se. But if he chooses Michigan State, I don't think it's going to be because of NIL. It's going to be because of the relationship that you just talked about. So that kind of dispels the worries of NIL completely controlling these players.
Yeah, and it's going to be, exactly what their pitch is to him. And in talking to Xavier Booker a few different times, the main pitch is, look what we did with Jaren Jackson. And they're comparing, the coaching staff is throwing that name out. And you look at what he's doing in the NBA now. But even more so, even like a Xavier Tillman, who was starting for the Grizzlies in the postseason this year. They do a lot better, Michigan State, with stretch forwards, kind of hybrid forwards, versatile forwards that Xavier Booker kind of fits in. And Indiana hasn't had that. So even with the Trace Jackson Davis or a Race Thompson, much different skill sets than Xavier Booker. And Indiana just hasn't been able to showcase what they would do with that type of versatile forward. Michigan State, on the other end, has, and they've done it with multiple different guys, whether or not they put them in the league or make them an all Big Ten forward or anything else.